Two pieces, though I'm miserable.
It is now 7 o'clock. We will resume the workshop for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen dated May the 1st, 2014. I'd like to thank everyone for allowing us to take a few minutes break. We're down to number 18, unless anyone has any questions, comments, or concerned about anything we've gone over thus far. If not, we'll move on to number 18, discussion ordinance to amend Title 7, Chapter 2, Section 7-229 of the Vergne Municipal Code regarding automatic fire sprinkler systems.
This item relates back to the adoption of the standard codes. It's under old business. According to state law, in order for the city to approve mandatory fire sprinkler systems in 1 and 2 family homes, we have to do that with a separate ordinance from the adoption of standard codes. What you have in your packets is our existing section about automatic fire sprinklers. That's what is currently in place and that will be changing. Legal is still working on the draft version of that ordinance, but part of the state law requirements is that the ordinance must be adopted at 2 special meetings that are at least 2 weeks apart. You can't even adopt it at a regular meeting, so this will not be on the agenda for next week. What I thought we might try and do is set up possible special meeting dates when we could have this ordinance approved on first and second reading during the month of May. So there is a calendar also in your packet of our meetings for the month of May. Tentatively, I was looking at the possibility of having the first reading at a special meeting on May the 13th, and then have the second reading prior to the Mayor-Alderman workshop on May the 29th. But I didn't know how that would fit into everybody's schedules. You know, the state legislature has obviously tried to put as many hoops and hurdles in our way to get this done. And of course, like I said, Evan and Nick are working on the amendment to the ordinance. I'm sure we'll get with Randolph and Dennis over there to make sure it has everything that we need. But that's kind of where we are on this second ordinance that we have to approve for mandatory fire sprinklers. I don't know if you have any questions or anything at this point.
Did you say the 13th and the 29th?
Those are possible dates. The 13th, we also have Planning Commission workshop, but we would probably have the special meeting, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon like we normally do. And then, of course, the 29th is our Mayor-Alderman workshop at 5 o'clock, so we probably have the special meeting like at 4 o'clock or 4:30, something like that.
Those dates look good for me.
Huh?
Those dates look good. May the 13th
As far as I know, I mean,
and May the 29th.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and plan on that and get that advertised. Of course, we will have the public hearing next week, and I suspect there'll be some builders here to talk about the sprinkler system requirements with the standard code ordinance. So I know that there have been several that have been in contact with the city. I had a meeting with the president of the Rutherford County Home Builders Association Monday of this week. So, you know, they're going to show up and try to discourage the sprinkler requirements. So, just be prepared for that.
Got any questions? Yes.
Am I to understand that from Thursday, May 8th, that the second reading, I mean, we can go ahead and begin to move forward with the adoption of that, of the I-code, correct?
Yes.
Before it can be enforced, we have to have those 2 special call meetings. And
What we'll have is the May the 8th, next Thursday, we'll have the second reading and the public hearing on the standard codes. And then we'll have a special meeting, hopefully on May the 13th and May the 29th, on the second ordinance that's specifically for mandatory sprinkler systems. And, we'll have that go into effect July 1st, just like the standard codes would go into effect at the same time.
That's only really going to affect that particular section, chapter 3, that particular residential sprinkler ordinance.
Yes.
Everything else, because I know I've got developers, well, not necessarily developers, but contractors that know we're on the cusp of adopting a new ordinance, and I'm continuing to tell them that by July 1, that whatever building permits they present to us, that we'll be reviewing those and inspecting under the 2012. So
Yes.
Both of those ordinances will go into effect July 1st.
Yes. Any more questions? Okay, next. Excuse me. Number 20, discussion, football field residing.
Well, me and Bruce were speaking about it. As you know, we had the meeting and we told them one of the things that we needed to have fixed before we move forward with another user agreement with them was that football field had to be repaired. Well, we told them, we gave them a little while, said we'll bring out a sod company, Southeastern Turf, who we always use when we put sod down. And I had told them that the number was going to be probably around $6,000 to get that repaired. Well, Southeastern came out and they confirmed. They said it's going to be about $6,000. So, and we definitely want them to repair. They did all the damage because they weren't, doing what we asked of them. So it resulted in $6,000 worth of damage. The field, well, you've seen it at the Easter egg hunt, looks terrible. And they said, they recommended goalpost to goalpost, sideline to sideline. All that needs to be replaced. Well, they've contacted me twice today already. What I need from y'all is how do we do this? How do we, I don't want to take it as a donation unless that's going to be the best route for us to go, But it needs to be done in May, early June at the latest, if they're going to be getting back on it. So what's the best route for us to go? I know they can't cut the city out, and just contact the sod company and have them work on our fields. So, I don't know what's the best route to tell them, because they want an answer as soon as possible, because we need to,
And this is something we'll talk with Evan about to make sure we're covered. I think our only two options are basically do it as a donation. Basically, at the meeting next week, we would have an item to accept the donation as well as an approval to do the resodding ourselves, because it's over $5,000. You would have to have council approval. The other option would be to have some sort of agreement between the city and the football league where they pay us the dollar amount or they do it themselves. And that's the items that are still up in the air. But we'll get with Evan and have that straightened out for next week. And it also depends on what football is willing to do. And that's going to be a big determination on the direction we go.
well, all indications from them is that they're going to do whatever it takes, but we'll see,
So
But I
we don't
definitely-
really know anything till we hear talk of that.
We just know
Right.
it needs to get done. Right?
Any questions? Next, discussion, city administrator performance evaluation.
You want to leave, Bruce?
I may ought to. I don't know.
Aldermen, I had the privilege of conducting or facilitating the first performance evaluation of our city administrator, Bruce Richardson. And I'd just like to thank the aldermen and mayor, I would like to thank you personally, for taking part in this. This is a very important process for the city. And I am pleased to announce that the results were outstanding. And I would like to commend the aldermen and the mayor for their efforts, but especially would like to commend Bruce for the fine job that he is doing for the city of Laverne. And we would like to have it clearly documented that his performance review came out as a meritorious rating. And I just wanted to go over some overall review comments. And the review itself was set up in 5 different categories. It spoke to demonstrated leadership, operations management, fiscal accountability, employee and customer service relations, and visionary planning. And Bruce scored an average of 5 in each category, and that's the highest that you can score. The rank scale was from 5 to 1, 5 being a high, 1 being low. And in demonstrated leadership, Bruce had 5 5s, category average was 5. Operations management, 5 ratings of 5, category average 5. Fiscal accountability, 5 5s, category average 5. Employee and customer service relations, we had 1 4 and 4 5s, category average was 4.8. Visionary planning, there were 5 5s, category average 5. And I again would like to read just a few of the overall review comments. It has been an absolute pleasure working with Bruce. He is trusted, and I am very comfortable discussing issues with him. We are lucky to have an administrator that does his job morally, ethically, and legally. Bruce always gives his best in every situation. He is concerned about employees and wants the best for the city. Excellent performance. Wish we could clone him. Bruce
No,
does
you
a
don't.
good job overall and is a great person, a great overall performer. There is no better person to lead the city of Laverne as our city administrator. There is no one that has more knowledge of the city than Bruce. His leadership has moved the city forward by all accounts. And so with that being said, I want to submit this for consideration and hopefully we can get a general consensus. And I don't know what the proper protocol is at this point for this, but again, we will file this on his behalf. And again, Bruce, you are doing a fabulous job, and we are proud to have you as our city administrator.
Thank you.
Good job.
Are there any questions
Dennis
regarding
Leary
the
for-
actual appraisal?
I'm not going to say who gets the floor.
I've been working with Bruce since '96.
No,
I'm just kidding.
And this will be on file, so that way if individuals wish to read, there were wonderful comments throughout in each individual category. And so again, for the sake of time, I won't read through all of this, but I would invite you, if that's permissible, to follow up and read the performance review, because it's very valuable.
They are excellent.
Thank you.
That wasn't too painful now, was it?
no. And I do want to say thank you. I do appreciate all the comments and support that you guys have given me. You know, it is very much appreciated. Obviously, the last few months have been pretty rough, and I do appreciate all the support of not only the council but all of the staff. And it's been a great experience. So I appreciate it.
We haven't been too rough on you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. Down to discussion. Motion to approve bid for fire department apparatus, 3 75-foot Quint trucks and 1 100-foot tower truck. Lay it on us, Ricky.
This is where the part where Bruce gets really strong. Well, earlier this afternoon at 3 o'clock, we did finally get our bids back. They've been out for quite some time. We've been working on them, the bid specs themselves, for even longer. They did come back in today. I don't know that we're exactly ready to give you our recommendation. We probably will speak and go through them a little bit further. However, the 3 Quints and the 100-foot platform, we only had 2 companies that actually put bids in on those. That was Sutphen Corporation and Rosenbauer. We've looked at both of them extensively. There were some things that Sutphen Corporation, parts of the bid that they did meet where Rosenbauer did not, one of those things being a local service center. The Sutphen Corporation, their service center is in Nashville. It's under Cumberland International, who also happens to be right now where our maintenance agreement through the city for our fire apparatus is currently at. Rosenbauer, to my understanding, their closest preventive maintenance or repair person is in Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's quite a ways away. Obviously, that's not where we could just drive a piece of apparatus, especially this type of apparatus. So those were one of the factors that will definitely and probably make us lean more towards the Sutphen. As you can see, the Sutphens had a little bigger price tag on them there than the Rosenbauer. However, we put this out as a package deal that included all of the equipment necessary for those pieces of apparatus as well. Rosenbauer did not bid any equipment. All they bid was the actual truck itself. I will definitely tell you the Sutphen Corporation is probably what the recommendation will be to you from fire, is to go with them. It's an excellent piece of equipment. The city of Franklin, we're lucky enough to have Chief Golden here that I'm sure could speak on and on and on and on about the quality of Sutphen Corporation and their equipment. For the public's benefit, and those numbers being there in the millions of dollars, I would like for the public to understand that this is not like buying a patrol car or a public works pickup truck. This is not a piece of equipment that's a 3 to 5 year piece of equipment and it's gone. This is a 15 to 25 to 30 year investment. We currently have a Sutphen tower that's 31 years old. It is our equipment that we purchased over from Private Fire has reached its end. We have a ladder that's currently out. It's been out of service now for over 2 months. We sent it in for a regular DOT inspection. It come back, and we're probably in the range of $25,000 to $30,000 in repair on that truck, and we should have it back tomorrow. As I said earlier today, built into the budget and working with Phyllis and looking at the numbers and the projections and what it cost Private Fire last year in maintenance and repairs on all of this older equipment that we currently have, we had to put into a budget for next fiscal year $250,000 just to make sure we're covered for this equipment. That doesn't necessarily mean as well that that equipment's going to be able to be kept in service. We had a ladder go down yesterday. So at that point, both of our aerials were out of service. That's not how we can run an efficient fire service here. We are going to have to make these purchases. And as I said, we should have you an answer as to what our recommendation will be, but I will let you know, Rosenbauer did not send a complete bid packet back in because this was a full package deal. So that being said, on the aerials themselves, the 3 quints and the platform, the recommendation will probably be Sutphen Corporation for the little over $4 million. My understanding is we're looking at bond issues, financing and things like that. As you know, there's a 12 to 14 month lead time on getting this apparatus in the process of being built and getting it delivered. So, in speaking with Bruce, I think all that Sutphen Corporation would need from us would be a purchase order to get the process started, and then we could work on the financing or the bonding and all of those issues secondarily. So at this point, that's what we know. But as I said, the bid's just closed at 3 o'clock this afternoon. But from the front end of it, we really don't have anything else to go on. This bid was out for 30 days. I do know through some of the equipment vendors that multiple other apparatus manufacturers were aware of the bid being out, and they just did not submit a bid to us. So we've done our part. We've advertised. We've put out what we would like to see, and this is what we have before us now. And that number does reflect a big difference between Rosenbauer and Sutphen, but that is a lot of equipment cost. Supply line alone's $83,000 for these pieces of equipment. You know, the equipment's not cheap, so you could probably add to the Rosenbauer there. Had they bid the equipment in their bid, they probably would have been right there neck and neck.
And bidding the equipment out like that's gonna be much more expensive.
Oh, definitely, definitely, and that's
Then
why we combined it
packaging.
all into one package deal.
Yeah.
Sutphen Corporation, when those trucks back into our stations, we'll put water on board, put men on them, and they'll be in service. It's pretty much a turnkey operation. We put a lot of time, this was a 350-page plus bid. So we all put a whole lot of time reading, researching, looking. We took a trip yesterday to Fairview to actually touch a brand-new Rosenbauer Quint, because we didn't want to come before this council, and we definitely didn't want to shortchange the citizens of Laverne and not know what we were talking about as far as the quality of the equipment and what we would be making a purchase on. So both of these pieces of equipment we have seen firsthand.
Any questions? Let's move on to the next one. Kind of fits in the same category.
The next one would be 2 fast attack vehicles. First of all, let me explain what these vehicles are. As the 3 Quints that you see that we were looking at earlier, 75-foot Quints, 100-foot platform, obviously those are large pieces of equipment. A lot of wear and tear on. The more you run those pieces of equipment, obviously the more preventive maintenance has to be done, the more can go wrong with them. We looked at taking the approach of going Quint concept. If you remember, when we spoke back in the retreat and all, by going Quint concept, we're cutting back on the number of needed personnel on the equipment. We can put 4 people on, get full credit from ISO on a Quint, where if we're running a standard fire response concept of engines and ladders, you'd be looking at 10 personnel to get full credit for that. So going back to that, we also don't want to we don't want to run the medical calls and all of these other types of snake calls, cats in the tree calls, public service calls. So we put a bid out for 2 fast attack trucks. They're smaller, more maneuverable, 2-person rigs. We're able to put 5 on the truck, but on the front end we'd probably staff them with 2 personnel. These trucks will be answering our medical first responder calls, some vehicle extrication calls, the cats in the trees, the kites, the public safety stuff, all the stuff that we wouldn't necessarily need an aerial or a pumper on. These trucks would take those calls on the front end. Also in that, we did add pump and water to it as well, because we currently don't have anything to do wildland or grass fire suppression services with. We have not had a piece of equipment to do that for quite some time. Both of these vehicles are 4-wheel drive, and have water and pump capabilities. So we made these 2 trucks basically universal. We can use them for just about anything. Now, on this one, we did receive 3 bids back. If you see there, Southeast Apparatus, it's kind of hard to read where all of them come back out of there, though. As you can see on the total there, though, I think the total on both were $619,970. We are going to go through these a little bit further than we did. The bottom company, Southern Fire Service, we immediately threw it out. It had non-NFPA compliant parts that had been bid with it. We immediately just threw that bid out. The seating in the apparatus itself was not NFPA compliant, so to us that was a definite must. That bid was thrown out. Once again, Rosenbauer was in there with that, but they once again did not bid any equipment on those trucks. So again, that's the reason for that number being so much lower. So on that one as well, we will probably be recommending that the top Southeast Apparatus be awarded that bid as well. That company is working in conjunction with Cumberland International. That chassis for that vehicle is on a TerraStar chassis, which is currently what our air and light truck is. It's doing very well for us. That would also put it under our same maintenance PM and all of that. So more than likely on Thursday or prior to Thursday, we will recommend that Southeast Apparatus be given that bid as well. And once again, these pieces of equipment, I'll go back to the aerials themselves. There's a 10, 12, 14-month delivery time on those. We put this bid out separately. These trucks have a 6 to an 8-month delivery time because they're smaller pieces of equipment. The longevity of these trucks is 8 to 12 years versus the 15 to 25 years on the other apparatus. So
I'll be honest, the way y'all take care of equipment,
we take very good care
of
of
course, we're making
the
more
equipment.
runs
We are
now,
making,
but
exactly.
still.
And that's one of the reasons for the fast attack trucks. We don't need to be running these 35, 40,000 pound aerials on medical calls in the middle of the night. These fast attack trucks is what we need to be doing that in. And now that ISO, we've worked at length with ISO to understand now that we can combine these resources of these fast attacks with our aerials and not lose any points or credit by doing so.
That's huge.
It's a big deal. I know it's a lot of money, but I hope I've explained it to you. As I said, we've put $250,000 in budget for next fiscal year. That number should be able to drop back. Don't hold me to it, but I would say we could knock 200,000 of that back off of that. That 200,000 could be used to handle the bond issue on this equipment. There's one more portion that's in this. I guess, Bruce, you want me to speak on the building portion of this as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
Part of that bond issue as well, when Station 3, the newest fire hall, was built, the bays were not built deep enough to house modern fire equipment. We come before Boza the other night and had to ask for a variance, a 5-foot variance there because we need to add 9 feet to the front of the bay area of that building in order to accommodate modern fire apparatus. So Boza was good enough to grant us that, so we are able to do that. We've already got some preliminary estimates on doing that as well. The lowest quote we got on it, I think Bruce, was $65,000 from one company. The highest we got, I think, was $112,000. So we just said $115,000 for that. So that'll probably be part of that bond issue as well with this apparatus because it's helping to house one piece of this. So that's all kind of all in one big package. We had originally said we'd be right around the $5 million mark, and we're going to be right at the $5 million mark. So glad I didn't have to bring you one that was over a $5 million mark, but it's very, very close. We'll be more than happy to show you the documents. Felicia will be scanning documents for Lord only knows how long from the bids that came in today. They come in binders about this thick. We will go back through them all, but as I said, Rosenbauer didn't bid equipment, and we can't do anything with just a truck and no equipment. So it looks like Southeast Apparatus and Sutphen Corporation is going to be the recommendations. And Bruce can speak as far as the what needs to happen from here part of that, the bonding, the payment.
I think at this point, for next Thursday, we'll have a more detailed recommendation on both of these bids. And it'll be up to the board whether or not to approve the recommendation. At that point, Phyllis and I will have to get with our financial advisors and try to determine the best way to finance these purchases. Obviously, with the large apparatus at, a little over $4 million, we're looking at a longer-term bond issue. My guess is probably 10 to 15 years. With the fast attack trucks, being $600 and almost $20,000, if that's the one that gets recommended, I think we have a few more options on the table there. Wouldn't necessarily have to do a bond issue for that. We can do, something with SunTrust, or, there may be some other options. But we'll get with Stevens Group, our financial advisors, and try to look at all of our financing, all of our current bonds that we have out there, and see if there's anything we can refund or improve our situation. And it's going to take them probably a month or two to come back with the recommendation and then go through the process. So it's not going to be a short process or quick answer, but we've got a lot of options to look at and do what's best for the city.
What we do will be done and done right.
Right.
Thank you.
I don't know if Phyllis has anything to add to that or not.
You covered it all, Bruce. Pretty much.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, any questions? Okay. believe we're down to the mayor and alderman. That wasn't too painful.
It wasn't too bad. And if y'all have any questions whatsoever, we're more than happy to sit down and explain all these things to you individually.
Excellent, thank you. All right, mayor and alderman comments. We'll start with you, Alderman Butler.
I don't have anything, man.
Nothing?
No.
Alderman Walker?
All thing I got is, young lady in Laverne, Lacey Slinker, will be representing the county in the Rutherford County Young Women's of Tennessee Scholarship Program. And that'll be held at the university campus in Cleveland, Tennessee. So it's a big plus for her. She's done a good job.
That's Mike and Susan's oldest daughter. That's really special for someone, yeah.
Very awesome.
I don't have
Nothing?
anything. Nothing.
Well, tomorrow night, we will be having the senior prom from 5 to 7:30 in the municipal building. So firefighters, police officers, if y'all would like to come out and shake a leg with a senior or two, come on out. They'd enjoy seeing you.
With us old ladies.
They're harmless.
Yeah, we are. Hey, see, I can't believe you'd laugh.
How about you?
I know.
But they have a lot of fun, so we look forward to that tomorrow night. And I don't believe we have anything this weekend other than ball games.
The BPA tournament.
So, am I forgetting anything, anybody? If not, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thank you for being with us tonight, and I call this meeting adjourned.